What's up, guys? I'm Christian. I am a touring musician and teacher, and today I wanted to make a video about understanding chord theory on guitar. I have met so many great guitar players that tell me they don't understand like theory or chord theory. I told them, if you give me a couple minutes of your time, I could probably help you understand, at least in a simple way. So that's what I'm going to try to do today. A couple prerequisites for this are going to be, you should already know how to play guitar to a degree, like play power chords, bar chords, maybe even like a solo or two, but we're doing chords today, so know your chords. You're gonna wanna know your E and your A string, what notes are on what fret. So for example, the 3rd fret is a G, right? A 4th fret is a G sharp or an A flat. 5th fret's an A. You're gonna wanna know that. It helps with knowing what key you're in. If you've ever heard somebody using numbers to describe a chord progression, like a 2-5-1 chord progression, this is going to be kind of covering that. It's a really easy way to communicate. It's extremely effective. I'm going to be teaching a way that's easy to understand, but is kind of only like scratching the surface, giving you a lot of room to build on top of it. So yeah, first thing we need to do is we need to know the major scale, the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. We're gonna wanna know how to play it on guitar. I'm gonna give you a pretty easy way to do it. We're only gonna be doing it on 2 strings. The E and the A string. That's because most of the basic chords on the guitar will start on the E and the A string. Again, this is just like primer for you to build on and learn more. This major scale, the way that we're gonna play it, is going to be wherever you start on, you're going to go whole step, and then you're gonna go to the A string, start on the same fret, whole step, whole step. That is 6 notes out of the 7 that are in the major scale. The whole major scale sounds like this. We're only doing 6 because those are the most common chords used in pop music, rock music, rap music. It doesn't matter. These are like the most common chords. So if we do the major scale up to the 6th note, level 1 of understanding the chord theory, you can just play power chords. And you can mix them up if you want to like write your own song. You can mix them in any way you want. Right, so all I was doing was playing the major scale but with power chords and putting rhythm to it, essentially. So that's level 1. You can identify which chords you're playing. If you start in G and you know the 5th fret is A, your 2nd chord is A, right? So you can say I'm playing a G chord, playing an A chord, and then the 7th fret is B. That's how you can kind of figure out what the names of the chords are, but really what it is your 1 chord, your 2 chord, your 3 chord, your 4 chord, your 5, and your 6. So if I call out a 2, 5, 1, you know your 2 chord is here, your 5 chord is here, and your 1 chord is here. And you know that because it's the major scale that you just learned. So if you want to do a 2, 5, 1 progression, if you want to do 6, 5, 4, so those are all just power chords. You can kind of get away with that depending on what setting you're in. But if you want to take the next step, 2 of understanding these chords, it's going to be understanding bar chords. If you are on your 1 chord, your 1 chord is always a major. 2 is always a minor. 3 is minor. Your 4 is major. Your 5 is major. And your 6 is minor. But so now if you do your 2, 5, 1 progression, instead of going like, you can make it sound a little more harmonic. And what knowing the chord qualities, major or minor, what that does is it makes it so you can bring out other notes in the chord to make different choices. You have more of a palette to choose from when creating your music. To test your knowledge, you can pick 2 chords and see if you remember where they are and what chord quality they are. So if you do like a 6-4 progression in the key of G, you're gonna find your 6th note, make it a chord. 6 is minor, 4 is major. Maybe do a 1-4 progression. Those are slow, you can go. 20 different ways to play these chords, but understanding how they fit together is as simple as knowing your major scale, giving each note in the major scale the proper chord quality, and that's it. That's literally it. From there, you can analyze songs like Creep by Radiohead. That is a 1, 3, 4 minor 4. So what that means is you would play the 1 chord, you play the 3 chord, but the 3 chord's actually major in this song. And then you would play the 4 chord, and then a minor 4 chord. And what that is the 4 chord's usually major, but turning it minor makes a certain sound. It's a really popular thing to do, is to turn the 4 chord specifically. Once you have memorized that the scale of with the chords, which is called the diatonic scale, when you use the major scale and put chords to it, it's called the diatonic scale. The 1 is major and the 2 is minor. You know, those are just suggestions. They're really good suggestions that a lot of people take. But some musicians will switch those suggestions and make the 4 chord, which is supposed to be major, minor chord. And it just sounds cool. It just, you know, just use your ears. At the end of the day, these are just ways to express and communicate. Ultimately, use your ears. Decide for yourself what sounds good if you're writing stuff. That is the, you know, that's the basics. Go to your favorite artists' songs, find out what key they're in, and see if you can figure out what order of chords they're playing. Are they playing a 1 chord first? Are they playing a 5 chord first? And see if you can do that. If you can, you're starting to get better. Yeah, comment any questions, and I'll see you next time.